technology dissemination cannot just be targeted to the first world. My name is Teng-Leong Chew. I'm the director of the Advanced Imaging Center at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, Janelia Research Campus in the United States. So the motivation for creating the Advanced Imaging Center at Janelia is multiple-fold. The most important one is when people develop advanced cutting-edge instruments, those instruments has to be tested. And there are no better way to test those instruments than to invite scientists from all over the world to come and use the instrument so that we know exactly how we can improve the next generation of instrument. So it is actually a very important motivation for the institution because it actually makes our instrument that we develop significantly better generation to generation. And then the second motivation is a lot of time the commercialization process for this cutting-edge technology can take a very long time. Some of them can take even 8 to 10 years, some even longer before these instruments can make it into the market. And so the goal here is, instead of letting this instrument just sit in the lab and not being used, through the Advanced Imaging Center, we can actually get this very powerful technology into the hands of scientists significantly faster. The Africa Microscopy Initiative, the idea even was germinated when we look at the map of where of all the proposals to the Advanced Imaging Center have come from. And in the first 6 or 7 years after its inception, we come to the realization that the Advanced Imaging Center has catered mainly to the affluent countries in the world. While we certainly have really awesome science to come and use our instrument, we also believe that technology dissemination cannot just be targeted to the first world. There are a lot of very, very important science and underexplored science that are in the resource-constrained regions of the world. And those scientists rarely have a chance to come to an advanced imaging center like the AIC at Janelia, simply because the technology available to them is so far removed from what we offer. And so we have learned many lessons from setting up the Africa Microscopy Initiative. First of all, science in the resource-constrained region should not be the blind spot for the global north, because we're all scientists, and scientific questions like infectious disease and everything is being fought almost at every front, at every corner of the world. And the only way those kind of battles can be successfully fought is to empower scientists, no matter where they are, to do the best science they can and give them the best tool they can. And so one of the lessons is that we can no longer afford to have a blind spot and just say that, well, they are underdeveloped and we don't place them as a high priority. And I think that is a wrong attitude. And second thing, I also think that it also, even when we reach out to them, we have to think about whether or not we can contextualize our effort in the situation that they're facing. And a lot of time, many of my colleagues will go there and teach very, very advanced microscopy, and which can be of little value to the scientists over there because they have no access to the most advanced technology. What they want is how to best use the technology that they have. And so the contextualization process is very, very important for the global outreach. And the third thing is, I think also for funding agencies, they can no longer just afford to keep funding science just in the global north. And again, many diseases are being fought at every corner of the world. And in fact, this is the best and the most effective way to fight a disease is where it started, in the origin of the disease. And unfortunately, those are usually not in the global north. And so funding agencies also are extremely, can learn a very valuable lesson in focusing on those areas as well. A scientist, I can give you an example of a scientist where their career has been very significantly transformed because of our effort. And that is Dr. Michael Rijke, who is from South Africa. He's actually our first advanced microscopy fellow at the Advanced Imaging Center at Janelia. And it was him who actually sort of gain our attention to the struggle that scientists are facing in South Africa. And because of his effort, because of all his tenacious effort in trying to draw attention to Africa, when we set up the Africa Microscopy Initiative Imaging Center at the University of Cape Town, he became the de facto manager and director for that imaging center at the University of Cape Town. And so basically we have sort of created a career for him in the place that usually don't have a career in advanced microscopy, and now he's in charge in driving the adoption of advanced microscopy on the continent. In terms of project, there are way too many for me to recount. We have made quite a lot of discoveries, and many scientists have been, their initial idea of how things work have been proven wrong, but happily be proven wrong because now they realize that the actual mechanism of what they have discovered is even cooler and even more interesting. So yeah, there are so many of such examples that have been published actually. There are several potentially pretty big barrier for such an effort in open access to advanced technology. One of them is the current political climate, and so a lot of funding is drying up and people are becoming more inward looking and think about what they can do in their own country. And so this created a sort of a vacuum situation for funding. So this is something that we have to continue to address and to sort of continue to articulate to the funders, to the government, of why such open access is important, not only for science, but for the prestige of the country and also for the technology to continue to advance in that country, precisely by being able to invite scientists from all over the world to test the technology that they have developed. That is number one. Number two, I think there is also a misconception by a lot of funders that if you can get all the best technologies in the world into the same building, then you can now do awesome science. And many people overlooked the importance of people in getting those technology to work. And so I would suggest that institutions and funders to start paying attention to the importance of people, expertise and knowledge that actually makes the technology work and not just the technology itself. Every situation, every institution will face different challenges because of the local situation. But I think the best solution is for a lot of these open access platforms to start working together, to exchange experience, to guide each other through some of the barriers so that we can all achieve the noble goal of making science available to all scientists.